Samantha followed the alien princess through the narrow passage. Her breath came in short bursts as they moved deeper into the unknown parts of the massive ship. The walls around them pulsed with a strange blue energy that seemed almost alive. Zaravex moved with the grace of someone born to zero gravity, her forearms occasionally touching the walls for balance. "We must hurry," the princess said. Her voice translated through the small device on Samantha's wrist. "My sister will soon discover I have taken you from the designated meeting area." "How much farther?" Samantha asked. She tried to keep her voice steady despite the growing anxiety in her chest. Earth had spent decades preparing for first contact, but no one had anticipated this scenario. A secret alliance formed in the shadows of diplomatic proceedings. The princess stopped at what appeared to be a dead end. She placed her palm against the wall and it dissolved, revealing a chamber filled with glowing screens and strange equipment. "This is my private research station," Zaravex explained. "Only I can access this place." Samantha stepped inside, amazed at the technology that surrounded her. The screens displayed star charts, mathematical equations, and what appeared to be biological data. She recognized Earth among the planets being monitored. "You have been watching us," Samantha said. It wasn't a question. The princess moved to the central console. "For 3 of your Earth years, we needed to understand if humans were potential allies, or if you would side with the Drakari." Samantha crossed her arms. "Why would we side with a species we never knew existed?" Zaravex touched a screen, bringing up images of reptilian creatures with technology embedded in their scales. The Drakari offer advanced technology to developing species. They appear as benefactors, but the technology contains control mechanisms. Once enough of your people adopt their gifts, they have control of your planet. "What kind of control?" Samantha asked, moving closer to examine the images. The princess gestured, and the screen showed humans with subtle changes to their eyes and skin. "The technology merges with your biology. It starts with enhanced abilities, longer life, freedom from disease. But slowly, it rewrites neural pathways until the host becomes an extension of the Drakari collective." Samantha felt a chill run down her spine. This sounds like science fiction, not diplomatic reality. The princess made a sound that might have been a laugh. "You humans always separate fiction from reality, as if imagination can't predict truth. The Drakari have consumed 17 species in the time my people have observed them. We almost became the 18th. "How did you resist?" Zaravex dimmed the lights. Her skin glowed more intensely in the darkness, casting shadows across her face. "My bloodline carries a genetic resistance. We discovered this only after my older sister accepted their gifts." She touched a symbol on her wrist, revealing a hologram of another Zithrai female who looked similar to the princess but with subtle differences. Her name was Miravek's first daughter. She was to be our next leader. Was Samantha noted the past tense. The princess nodded, her large eyes reflecting sorrow. "We lost her when we removed the Drakari technology. Her mind was too far gone. She took her own life, rather than live without their voice in her head." Samantha moved closer instinctively, wanting to comfort the alien, despite not knowing the proper protocol. "I'm sorry for your loss." The princess looked at her with surprise. The translator must have failed. That phrase has no meaning in our language. We do not apologize for events beyond our control. It's a human expression. Samantha explained. We acknowledge the pain of others even when we aren't responsible for causing it. Zaravex studied her for a moment. "Perhaps there is wisdom in your customs. We Zithrai avoid discussing pain. We see it as weakness. But your species embraces vulnerability as connection." A sudden alarm blared through the chamber. The princess moved quickly to a console. "They have discovered you are missing," she said. "We have less time than I thought." Samantha felt her training kick in. "What do you need me to do?" The princess extracted a small crystal from a hidden compartment. "This contains all our research on Drakari technology, their weaknesses, their communication protocols. I need you to get this to your scientists. But more importantly, I need you to find the human who has already been compromised." How will I know who it is? Zaravex handed her the small device from earlier. It will grow warm in the presence of Drakari technology. The closer you get, the warmer it becomes. But you must be careful. The compromised human may appear normal. They may even believe they are acting of their own free will. Samantha secured both items in her pocket. What about you? Won't you be in danger for helping me? The princess straightened to her full height, revealing the royal bearing that her informal manner had previously concealed. I am third daughter of the High Council. My duty is to protect my people even at the cost of my life, the same as your duty. Commander Morgan Samantha felt a strange connection to this alien, who, despite her exotic appearance, understood the core of what it meant to serve. She nodded. We have that in common, at least. The princess moved to another wall, pressing a series of symbols in sequence. This passage will take you back to your delegation. She handed Samantha a small communication device. If you discover the compromised human, contact me immediately. Do not confront them alone. The Drakari technology gives enhanced strength and reflexes. Samantha took the device. Their fingers brushed, sending that same electric sensation up her arm. She wondered if it was some property of Zithrai biology or something more significant. Why trust me? Why not work with your own government? The princess hesitated. My government is divided. Many believe we should surrender to the Drakari, accept their gifts. They promise peace, prosperity, advancement. Others fear what we will lose. I need an outside perspective, someone who can see clearly what we cannot. The wall slid open, revealing another passage. This one, brightly lit. How will I explain where I was? Samantha asked. The princess touched a symbol on Samantha's translator. Your device will show you were given a private tour of our cultural archives, a great honor. Many will be jealous. She smiled, revealing those pearl-like teeth again. I have officially requested you as my personal liaison between our species. A position my sister cannot easily object to without revealing her true motives. Clever, Samantha said with genuine admiration. The princess titled, Her head, I believe the human expression is knowing your enemy. The Drakari expect us to follow protocols, rules I learned from studying Earth history, that sometimes the best strategy is unpredictability. Samantha nodded, feeling a new respect for her alien ally. I should go before they send a search party. As she turned to leave, the princess called after her Commander Morgan in human terms. What we are doing would be considered what? Samantha smiled. Treason if we're wrong. Heroism if we're right. Princess made that musical sound again. Then let us hope for heroism. Samantha rejoined the human delegation with practiced ease. She slipped into the reception hall where diplomats from Earth mingled awkwardly with Zithrai officials. Captain Lily Baker, the mission commander, spotted her immediately and moved across the room. Her face remained neutral, but Samantha could see the tension in her shoulders. Where have you been, Commander Morgan? She asked, keeping her voice low. The princess requested your presence nearly an hour ago. Samantha touched her translator. As instructed, I was given a private tour of the cultural archives, she explained, watching her captain's reaction carefully. The device in her pocket remained cool. Captain Baker raised an eyebrow. A tour, when you should have been in official meetings, was specifically requested as a cultural liaison. Samantha said, The third daughter has appointed me to work directly with her. The captain frowned. This complicates our mission parameters. We need you focused on security, not playing tour guide to an alien princess. Before Samantha could respond, a tall, elegant Zithrai approached them. Her resemblance to Zaravex was striking, but where the third daughter had warmth in her eyes, this female radiated cold authority. Captain Baker, Ambassador Pierce. May I present Kelvek's second daughter of the High Council, an aide announced with formal precision. The second daughter towered over the humans. Her skin shimmered with a more intense purple than her sister, and Samantha noticed subtle implants at her temples, almost invisible against her skin. The device in Samantha's pocket grew noticeably warm. It is an honor to meet Earth's representatives, Kelvek said through her translator. We have waited many cycles for this day. Ambassador Pierce, a gray-haired woman with sharp eyes, stepped forward. The honor is ours. Your civilization has much to teach humanity. We come eager to learn." The second daughter tilted her head in what might have been approval. "I understand one of your officers has been selected by my sister for special attention," her gaze fixed on Samantha. Samantha felt the device grow hotter in her pocket. "Yes, Your Highness. I am deeply honored by the opportunity." Something flickered across Kelvek's face. "What exactly did my sister show you during this private meeting?" "The cultural archives," Samantha said, maintaining eye contact. "I was fascinated by your species." "Artistic development." The second daughter stared at her for an uncomfortable moment. "I see my sister has always had unusual interests." She turned to Captain Baker. "I hope this arrangement won't interfere with your security protocols. Commander Morgan has important duties." "I imagine." The device was now almost painfully hot against Samantha's leg. She shifted her position slightly, trying to create distance without being obvious. "We can accommodate the princess request," Captain Baker said, though her expression suggested she was not pleased. "We are guests here after all." "Excellent," Kelvek said. Her four hands moved in a formal gesture that the humans had been briefed to recognize as respect. "Then if you will excuse me, I must attend to other matters." She glided away, her movements somehow less natural than her sister's. When she was out of earshot, Ambassador Pierce turned to Samantha. "What exactly happened with the third daughter? She requested you specifically by name before we even arrived." Samantha chose her words carefully. "She seems interested in human adaptability, our problem-solving approaches." She deliberately omitted any mention of the Drakari threat until she could determine who could be trusted. Captain Baker studied her face. "We should discuss this further in private." They were interrupted by another aide. This one human, Linda Zhao, the mission's cultural specialist, approached with barely contained excitement. "Commander Morgan, you won't believe what the Zithrai have offered to show us. Their energy production facility. It's completely revolutionary technology, centuries beyond ours." Her eyes shone with an enthusiasm that seemed excessive even for a scientific breakthrough. The device in Samantha's pocket cooled slightly as Linda moved past her, but warmed again when Ambassador Pierce stepped closer. "Interesting patterns," she noted mentally. "I need to prepare for tomorrow." "Commander Morgan," Captain Baker said. Her tone made it clear this was an order, not a suggestion. "My quarters, 30 minutes." Samantha nodded, understanding the command. She spent the next half-hour circulating through the reception deliberately, coming near each member of the 12-person Earth delegation. The device remained cool near most but warmed noticeably around 3 people: Ambassador Pierce, Lieutenant Commander Diane Foster from Engineering, and Dr. Patricia Wilson, the mission biologist. When she arrived at the captain's quarters, she found Baker reviewing security footage from the reception. She looked up as Samantha entered. "Report, Commander, and don't give me that cultural archives nonsense." Samantha assessed her options. The captain had always been direct, trustworthy. She decided to take a calculated risk. "I met with the third daughter in private. She believes there is a threat to both our species." She produced the crystal from her pocket. "This contains information about an alien species called the Drakari. They infiltrate developing civilizations through technology that merges with biology." Baker took the crystal, examining it with suspicion. "This sounds like science fiction." Morgan. Samantha smiled faintly. "That's what I said. The princess gave me this too." She showed the small detection device. "It reacts to Drakari technology. It warmed when I was near the second daughter and 3 members of our delegation." The captain's expression hardened. "Names, Ambassador." Pierce, Dr. Wilson, and Lieutenant Commander Foster. Baker cursed quietly. "The 3 with the highest security clearances besides us." "Of course." She paced the small room. "What exactly is this princess suggesting that the Drakari have already compromised? Some humans. They're using this diplomatic mission to assess how easily Earth can be infiltrated," Samantha explained. "They offer advanced technology that seems beneficial, but it eventually allows them control." "And you believe this?" Baker asked, her voice skeptical. "The device warmed in my hand when I stood near those 3. Samantha said. "And the second daughter has implants that match the description of Drakari technology." Baker sat heavily in a chair. This is beyond our mission parameters. We were sent to establish diplomatic relations, not uncover an alien conspiracy. Samantha leaned forward. What if that's exactly why we were sent? What if someone on Earth already knows? The captain's eyes widened with realization. The rushed timeline, the insistence on bringing specific personnel the unusual security protocols. She looked at Samantha with new respect. I always wondered why they sent an intelligence officer on a diplomatic mission. I need to contact the princess. Samantha said, she can help us determine how deep this goes. Baker held up her hand. Not so fast, Morgan. We need evidence. If you're wrong, we're committing an act of treason against our own government. If you're right, she left the sentence unfinished. I'm not wrong, Captain Samantha said. With conviction, I saw the data. The princess showed me records of other species that fell to the Drakari. They follow the same pattern every time. First contact, diplomatic overtures, offers of advanced technology. Then subtle control. Baker stood moving. To a secure terminal. We need to examine this crystal, but not here. Not where they might be monitoring. She handed it back to Samantha. Return to your quarters. Keep this device with you at all times. Note who triggers a reaction. Try to get close to the second daughter again. See if you can learn more. I'll contact Earth with a coded message requesting verification of our mission parameters. As Samantha turned to leave, Baker added one more thing. Be careful with this princess. Morgan, alien motivations are just that, alien. She might have her own agenda. Samantha nodded. I considered that, but the device doesn't react to her, and she could have simply let the diplomatic mission proceed instead of risking exposure. The captain smiled grimly. Welcome to the world of interstellar politics. Commander, every species for themselves, remember that. As Samantha made her way back to her assigned quarters, she felt the weight of two worlds on her shoulders. The detection device warmed suddenly. She turned to see Dr. Wilson approaching from a side corridor. Commander Morgan, the doctor called, her voice pleasant. There you are. Captain Baker mentioned you had questions about Zithri biology. I'm happy to help. The device in Samantha's pocket grew hotter as Dr. Wilson approached. She forced a smile, keeping her expression neutral despite the warning. Yes, doctor. I was curious about their physiology, the forearms in particular. Do we know how their nervous system manages the extra appendages? Wilson smiled, her eyes bright with enthusiasm. Their neural structure is fascinating, much more complex than ours with redundant systems. She launched into a detailed explanation, moving closer with each sentence. The device now felt like it might burn through Samantha's pocket. I should love to continue this discussion, Samantha said, taking a step back, but I have an early meeting with the third daughter. Perhaps we could speak tomorrow. Wilson tilted her head, in a gesture that suddenly seemed more Zithri than human. Of course, Commander. The princess seems quite taken with you. An interesting development. She smiled again, but it didn't reach her eyes. Be careful, though. The royal family has complex politics. The third daughter isn't as influential as she appears. Samantha nodded, keeping her expression neutral. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you for the warning. As soon as she was alone in her quarters, Samantha activated the communication device the princess had given her. It projected a small hologram of Zaravex, who appeared immediately. You have news, Commander? The princess asked. Her voice sounded tense, even through the translator. The device reacted to 3 members of our delegation, Samantha reported, including our lead biologist who just warned me against trusting you. Zaravex made a gesture Samantha couldn't interpret. Not unexpected. The Drakari always target scientists first, those who would understand and covet their technology. The warning against me is standard procedure. They will try to isolate you from potential allies. Captain. Baker knows, Samantha continued. She wants evidence before taking action. The princess nodded. Your captain is wise. The crystal I gave you contains everything. We know about Drakari infiltration patterns, biological markers, communication frequencies, but you must be careful where you access it. Their technology can detect when their data is being reviewed. Samantha frowned. How am I supposed to examine it? Then the princess hesitated. There is a way, but it requires trust more than you may be willing to give. I have access to secure facilities beyond my sister's monitoring network, but you would need to come alone without informing your captain. The request set off warning bells in Samantha's training. Never go off protocol, never act without backup. But the warmth of the device against her leg reminded her that protocol might already be compromised. I need time to think about this, she said carefully. The princess seemed to understand the third eye ceremony begins in 6 hours. It is our most sacred ritual. All Zithrai will be in attendance, including my sister. The monitoring systems will be at minimal capacity. It would be the safest time if you decide to trust me. The communication ended, leaving Samantha alone with her thoughts. She lay on her bed, staring at the ceiling, weighing her options. If the princess was telling the truth, Earth faced an existential threat. If she was lying, Samantha might be walking into a trap that could jeopardize humanity's first contact. Sleep came in fitful bursts. Dreams of reptilian creatures with human faces chased her through corridors that shifted and changed. She woke to a soft chime from her communication device. The screen displayed a simple message: Third Eye Chamber Secondary Entrance 4 hours. Samantha made her decision. She dressed in her uniform, making sure the crystal and detection device were secure. A knock at her door startled her lieutenant. Commander Foster stood outside, her expression pleasant. Commander Morgan, Captain Baker requested your presence at the morning briefing, Foster said. Her voice sounded normal, but her eyes had an unusual intensity. The detection device warmed in Samantha's pocket. Tell the captain. He'll be there shortly, Samantha replied, watching Foster's reaction. The lieutenant commander nodded but made no move to leave. The princess has requested your presence at the Third Eye ceremony. An unusual honor for an outsider. Samantha kept her face neutral. Yes, I was surprised by the invitation. Foster stepped closer, her voice dropping. We're concerned, Commander. The third daughter has shown unusual interest in you. Some of us wonder if there might be manipulation involved. Their technology is far beyond ours. Their ability to influence human thought is unknown. The warning might have seemed reasonable except for the burning device in Samantha's pocket. I appreciate the concern, Lieutenant Commander, but am following diplomatic protocol. Foster studied her face for a moment. Very well, Commander, but remember where your loyalties lie. She turned and walked away, her movements too precise, too measured. Samantha waited until Foster was gone before sending a message to Captain Baker claiming illness and requesting to skip the morning briefing. It was a risk, but less dangerous than being in a room with 3 potentially compromised officers. 3 hours later, she made her way through the quiet corridors of the Zithrai ship. The main halls were deserted as the aliens prepared for their ceremony. She found the secondary entrance to the Third Eye Chamber. Just where the princess had indicated, a panel slid open as she approached. Zaravex waited inside her, luminescent, skin dimmed to a soft glow. You came? She said. There was surprise in her voice. I need to know the truth, Samantha said. One way or another. The princess gestured for her to follow. They moved through a series of chambers, each more elaborate than the last. The architecture was organic curves and flowing lines rather than the angular human designs Samantha was accustomed to. Finally, they reached a room that hummed with energy. Screens displayed data in the strange flowing script of the Zithrai. This is our most secure research facility, Zaravex explained. Only those of royal blood can access it. The crystal you brought contains compressed data. Place it here. Samantha hesitated before removing the crystal from her pocket. What guarantee do I have that this isn't a trap? The princess moved closer, her large eyes reflecting the room's blue light. You have none, Commander. Just as I have no guarantee you haven't already been compromised. Your species calls it faith, I believe. Mine calls it Hirva. The moment of decision without certainty. Samantha placed the crystal in the indicated receptacle. The room darkened, then illuminated with 3-dimensional projections. Planets, star systems, Biological diagrams and what appeared to be historical records filled the space. "This is everything we know about the Drakari," Zaravek said. Her forearms moved through the projections, manipulating data with practiced ease. "They began in the Cygnus arm of your galaxy. Simple predators, until they discovered technology belonging to an ancient species. We call them the Forerunners. They have been extinct for millennia, but their technology remains. The projections showed reptilian creatures evolving, incorporating more and more mechanical components until they were barely recognizable as organic beings. The Drakari learned to merge with technology." Zaravek continued. "They extended their lives, eliminated disease, enhanced their natural abilities. But the process changed them. They lost something essential. The drive to create was replaced by the drive to consume." Samantha watched as the projections showed the Drakari approaching other worlds. Always the same pattern: first contact offers of advanced technology, gradual infiltration, and finally harvesting. The conquered species. "How many civilizations?" Samantha asked, her voice barely a whisper. 23 that we know of." The princess replied. 6 in the last century. They are accelerating. Their resources grow with each world they take." The projection shifted to show Earth. "Your planet is particularly valuable. Its biodiversity is exceptional. The Drakari consume genetic material as well as resources. They see humans as a feast. Evolution has made your species remarkably adaptable. The very quality that helped you survive on Earth makes you desirable to them." Samantha studied the data, her military training helping her process the strategic implications. "If this is true, why didn't you warn Earth directly? Why the diplomatic charade?" Zaravek dimmed. "The projections. We tried to warn 2 other species before you. The Drakari intercepted our messages. They accelerated their plans. Those worlds fell faster than they might have otherwise. My people decided a more subtle approach was needed." "And your sister?" Samantha asked. "Is she fully controlled by them?" The princess turned away, her posture revealing grief even across the species barrier. "Not yet. But soon. The implants are progressing. The Drakari work slowly. They allow the host to believe they maintain control. The changes are subtle at first. Enhanced abilities, improved health, longer life. The host believes they are simply benefiting from advanced technology. They don't realize their thoughts are being redirected until it's too late. How do we stop them?" The princess activated another projection, this one showing what appeared to be a weapon. "We developed this. The only effective defense against their technology. It emits a specific frequency that disrupts the Drakari control signals. It cannot remove their implants, but it can prevent them from functioning. The affected individuals return to their original state of mind. Does it harm the host?" Samantha asked. Zaravek hesitated. "There are side effects. The longer the implants have been present, the more difficult the separation. The host experiences withdrawal symptoms, depression, anxiety, in some cases psychosis. Their bodies have become dependent on the enhancement. In severe cases, death." Samantha finished. Zaravek touched the control panel and the stasis field around Valnor dissipated. The guard's eyes opened slowly. They were clouded with silver filaments that moved like living things. His forearms jerked in unnatural movements. "Princess," he gasped, his voice distorted by the translator. "They are calling me. I can hear them always calling." Samantha stepped back instinctively. The guard's skin rippled as the implants beneath the surface activated. The metallic patterns glowed with blue energy. "Tell her Valnor," Zaravek said, her voice gentle. "Tell the human what they promised you." The guard turned his silver eyes toward Samantha. "Perfection. They promised perfection. No more illness, no more pain, no more death. Their technology would make us like gods. We would ascend beyond flesh." His voice changed, becoming monotone. "We would join the collective, the many voices speaking as one. The perfect harmony of flesh and machine." What did they really want? Zaravek prompted Val. Nor shuddered. "Our world, our resources, our genetic material." He struggled, visibly fighting against something inside him. "They see us as cattle. They harvest worlds, Strip them of resources, extract genetic material, then move on. The guard's body suddenly convulsed. They know him speaking, they see through my eyes. Zarevex quickly reactivated the stasis field. Valnor froze his mouth open in a silent scream. "That is the truth, Commander Morgan," she said, turning to Samantha. "They use their hosts as eyes and ears. When the connection is strong enough, they can take direct control." Samantha stared at the frozen guard, trying to process what she had witnessed. The implications were staggering. If the Drakari could access their host's sensory input, then anyone compromised on the Earth delegation was potentially feeding information directly to them. "Does that mean they know about me, about this meeting?" The princess nodded. "It's likely they know something is happening, but not specifics. The stasis chamber blocks most signals, and this facility is shielded, but we must assume they are suspicious. That is why we must act during the Third Eye ceremony. It is the one time when all Zithrai, even those with implants, must enter a meditative state. The connection to the Drakari collective weakens." "What exactly are you proposing?" Samantha asked. Zarevex moved to another console. This activated a holographic map of the ship. "The Third Eye ceremony takes place here." She indicated a large chamber at the center of the vessel. "All Zithrai will be in attendance, including my sister. During the ceremony, I can activate the disruption device. It will sever the connection between the Drakari technology and its hosts temporarily, and the compromised humans." Samantha asked. The princess hesitated. "Your captain must secure them. The effect will be similar to what you witnessed with Valnor: disorientation, confusion, possibly violence. They will not understand what is happening to them." Samantha considered the plan. "I need to contact Captain Baker. Let her know what's happening." Zarevex handed her a communication device. "This is secure for now. Use it quickly." The ceremony begins in less than an hour. Samantha activated the device, relieved when Baker's face appeared on the small screen. "Captain, we have a situation." She explained everything she had learned, watching her superior's expression shift from skepticism to alarm. "This is beyond anything we expected," Baker said when Samantha finished. "But the evidence is compelling, especially the reaction of the device to specific personnel. I'll secure Foster and Wilson. I'll need assistance with Pierce. She's rarely alone." "The princess believes the disruption will cause disorientation," Samantha warned. "Possibly violent reactions." Baker nodded. Grimly, "My security team can handle it. Most of them showed no reaction to your device. I'll have them ready." "When exactly will this disruption occur?" "During the ceremony," Samantha said. "In approximately 45 minutes. I'll be ready," Baker promised. "Be careful, Morgan. This princess may be telling the truth, but that doesn't mean she's telling you everything." The communication ended, leaving Samantha alone with Zarevex. The princess was preparing equipment, her movements precise, efficient. She handed Samantha what appeared to be a small weapon. "This emits the same disruption field, but focused. It will protect you if you encounter a compromised individual before the main device activates." Samantha examined the weapon. Its design was elegant, organic, curves rather than the utilitarian human style she was accustomed to. "How exactly does the ceremony work?" "The third eye is our connection to our ancestors," Zarevex explained. "All Zithrai possess a dormant neural cluster here." She touched the center of her forehead. "During the ceremony, we activate this cluster, allowing us to experience the collective memory of our species. It is our most sacred tradition, the only time we truly connect as one people. But the Drakari implants interfere with this connection," Samantha guessed. The princess nodded. "They cannot fully block it. That's why all Zithrai must attend, even those with implants. But during the connection, the Drakari influence weakens. That is our window of opportunity." A soft alarm sounded. Zarevex straightened. "It is time. I must take my place in the ceremony. You should return to your ship. Ensure your captain has secured the compromised humans." Samantha hesitated, then made a decision. "I'm coming with you." The princess tilted her head, in surprise that would be unprecedented. No outsider has ever witnessed the third eye ceremony. I need to see this through, Samantha said. Besides, if something goes wrong, you might need backup. Zaravek studied her for a moment, then nodded. There is wisdom in your strategy. Come, but you must remain hidden. The ceremonial chamber has observation areas designed for security. You can watch from there. They moved through the ship, taking service corridors to avoid detection. The few Zithrai they encountered were hurrying toward the ceremony, too focused on their destination to notice the human in their midst. Finally, they reached a small door hidden in an alcove. This will take you to the observation level, Zaravek said. No one will be there during the ceremony. From there, you will have clear view of the proceedings. She hesitated, then touched Samantha's arm, a gesture that seemed to carry great significance among her people. Whatever happens, Commander Morgan, know that my people are not your enemy. We face the same threat. Be careful, Samantha said, surprised by the emotion in her voice. The princess made that musical sound that might have been laughter. We are beyond careful now. Commander, we are in the realm of faith. Remember to activate the disruption weapon only if something goes wrong with the main device. Samantha climbed a narrow staircase that led to a transparent platform overlooking an enormous chamber. Below, hundreds of Zithrai had gathered, arranged in concentric circles. Their skin created a living light show as they pulsed in unison. In the center stood three figures that Samantha recognized as the royal daughters, including Zaravex and her sister Kelvex. The ceremony began with a low humming sound that seemed to come from the Zithrai themselves rather than any instrument. The circles began to rotate, alternating clockwise and counterclockwise, creating a hypnotic pattern. As the humming intensified, Samantha noticed a change in the aliens. Their foreheads began to glow, revealing what appeared to be a third eye, not physical but energetic. The three royal daughters moved to the very center of the pattern, their forearms extended in identical gestures. The humming reached a crescendo, then suddenly stopped, leaving an absolute silence that felt physical in its intensity. Kelvex, the second daughter, stepped forward. Her voice carried clearly, even without a translator. We gather to connect with those who came before, to remember who we are, to become one, people, one mind, one heart. But as she spoke, Samantha noticed something wrong. The patterns beneath Kelvex's skin were growing brighter, pulsing with an intensity that seemed painful. The ceremonial words faltered. The second daughter turned suddenly, facing Zaravex. You, she hissed, her voice distorted. You have betrayed us, sister. Zaravex stood tall, unflinching. I have saved us, sister. The Drakari offer nothing but extinction. Kelvex laughed, the sound unnatural. They offer evolution, perfection. You would keep our people trapped in flesh, weak, vulnerable. She turned, addressing the gathered Zithrai. The humans have corrupted the third daughter. She conspires against our future. The assembled aliens murmured in confusion. The ceremonial pattern began. To break down, Samantha gripped the disruption weapon tightly, watching as the situation deteriorated. Zaravex moved to a central pillar, pressing her palm against it. A series of symbols illuminated. Now she said simply. A wave of energy pulsed through, the chamber invisible but powerful. Kelvex screamed, clutching her head. The Zithrai, with implants similar to hers, reacted the same way, falling to their knees. The others watched in horror as their friends and family members convulsed. It's lies, Kelvex shrieked, her voice no longer her own. They poison you against evolution, see what they do. She lunged at Zaravex, moving with impossible speed. Samantha didn't hesitate. She aimed the disruption weapon and fired. A focused beam struck the second daughter, freezing her in place. Her skin flickered like a malfunctioning screen. The implants beneath her surface writhed as if alive. The doors to the chamber burst open. Security forces rushed in, led by Captain Baker. She had Dr. Wilson and Lieutenant Commander Foster in restraints. Both humans were struggling, their eyes wild with panic. Help me, Kelvex called, her voice suddenly her own again. The Drakari. They are in my mind, sisters, help me. The first counselor of the HFY stepped forward, addressing the stunned assembly. The third daughter speaks truth. She has uncovered a plot against our people. The Drakari seek not alliance but domination. 3 days later, Samantha stood in the newly established Joint Defense Command Center. The large chamber had been converted from a ceremonial hall to a military operations center. Screens displayed star charts, tracking systems, and communication. Array's HFY and humans worked side by side, their initial awkwardness giving way to professional cooperation. Captain Baker approached, handing Samantha a data pad. The latest reports from Earth, she said. Security protocols have been implemented. Worldwide, all delegations are being screened with detection devices based on the Princess design. So far, we've identified 17 individuals with early-stage implants. How are they responding to treatment? Samantha asked. Baker smiled grimly. Better than expected. The disruption technology has been refined. The withdrawal symptoms are manageable with proper medical support. No fatalities yet. She lowered her voice. Ambassador Pierce is still in critical condition. The implants had progressed further than we realized. But the doctors are optimistic, and the Drakari. Samantha asked, have we located their vessels? The captain gestured to a star chart. A HFY tracking system has identified 3 ships in the shadow of your moon, just as the Princess described. Baker answered, we believe it's a forward observation post, not their main fleet. Earth has deployed defensive systems, but we're keeping it quiet. Don't want to trigger a premature confrontation. Samantha nodded, studying the tactical display. The HFY fleet had taken up defensive positions around Earth, a gesture of alliance that would have been unimaginable a week ago. How are the diplomatic talks progressing? Baker laughed. The politicians are scrambling to catch up with events. The existing diplomatic framework has been completely rewritten. We're no longer discussing cultural exchange programs. We're establishing a military alliance against an existential threat. She placed a hand on Samantha's shoulder. You've been promoted by the way Commander Lieutenant Colonel Morgan, effective immediately. Samantha raised an eyebrow. That was fast. The captain shrugged. When you save 2 civilizations from infiltration, the bureaucracy moves quickly. The High Council has requested you as permanent liaison to the HFY Defense Force. Another first before Samantha could respond. A hush fell over the command center. Zaravex had entered. The princess now wore the formal regalia of her position. Her skin glowed with a vibrant purple that commanded attention. She moved directly to Samantha and Captain Baker. The High Council has approved the Joint Defense Initiative, she announced. All HFY resources are committed to the protection of Earth and the elimination of the Drakari threat. How is your sister? Baker asked with genuine concern. The princess' expression softened. She improved slowly. The medical team believes they can remove most of the implants, but she will never fully recover. Some neural pathways were permanently altered. She gestured to a HFY medical officer who stepped forward. We have learned much from studying the affected individuals, the officer explained. Both human and HFY physiology shows remarkable resilience. The Drakari technology is sophisticated, but not infallible. We believe we can develop more effective countermeasures given time. And what about offensive capabilities? Samantha asked. The detection and disruption technology is useful, but eventually we'll need to take the fight to them. Zaravex nodded. Her forearms moved in a complex gesture, activating a holographic display in the center of the room. This is what we know of Drakari space, their home system. 17 light-years from Earth. They have established outposts in 27 systems, including yours. The display showed a vast network of interconnected worlds. Some glowed red, indicating conquered planets, others yellow, showing those under observation. Earth pulsed with a bright blue light, marking its status as aware and resisting. We believe their strategy relies on stealth and infiltration. The princess continued. They avoid direct military confrontation whenever possible. Their actual fleet is relatively small. Their strength lies in turning a planet's own people against themselves, but now we know how they operate. Samantha said, and we can detect their technology, Captain. Baker studied the display. Can we use the disruption technology on a larger scale? Perhaps target their fleet directly. The HFY medical officer shook her head. The disruption field has limited range. It requires enormous energy to project even across a single ship. Scaling it to affect an entire fleet would be beyond our current capabilities. Then we need a delivery system, Samantha said, her military training focusing on tactical solutions. Something that can deploy the disruption field directly to their vessels. Zara Vex tilted her head in what Samantha had come to recognize as interest. A targeted weapon, the Drakari would not expect a direct assault. It contradicts their understanding of both our species. They believe we rely on diplomacy and procedure. The humans and HFY in the command center gathered around the holographic display, offering suggestions, debating possibilities. The atmosphere of cooperation was remarkable given how recently they had been strangers. The shared threat had united them in purpose, if not yet in complete trust. As the discussion continued, Samantha noticed Ambassador Pierce being escorted into the command center. The woman looked pale, her movements uncertain, but her eyes were clear. Captain Baker immediately moved to her side. Should she be here? Samantha asked quietly. The captain nodded. The medical team cleared her. The implants have been neutralized. She remembers everything, including what it felt like to have her thoughts directed. She wants to help. Pierce approached the tactical display, studying it with professional interest. I have information that might be useful. She said, her voice weak but determined. I know their command protocols. The implants allowed communication, but it worked both ways. I could sense their hierarchy, their communication patterns. Zara Vex moved closer to the ambassador. Our experience with Kelvex suggests the same. The connection creates a network. We might exploit this vulnerability. A HFY scientist stepped forward. We have been analyzing the captured implants. They transmit on specific frequencies. If we could broadcast a disruption signal on those exact frequencies, perhaps amplified by your planet's satellite network, it could create a cascade failure, Baker said, following the logic. Their entire command structure could collapse. The discussion grew more technical as scientists from both species began calculating power requirements and transmission vectors. Samantha stepped back, watching the collaboration with satisfaction. Her gaze met Zara Vex across the room. The princess moved to join her. You seem pleased, Commander, the princess observed. Colonel, now, Samantha corrected with a small smile. And yes, a week ago our species were strangers. Now we're planning battle strategy together. Zara Vex made that musical sound that Samantha now recognized as laughter. The Drakari miscalculated. They believed division was our natural state, that we would turn against each other when threatened. Instead, we found common purpose. She gestured to the busy command center. This is what they feared most. Alliance. Samantha studied the princess face, finding she could now read her expressions despite their alien nature. What happens after assuming we defeat them? The princess considered the question. The alliance would continue. I hope our species complement each other. Humans adapt, quickly find creative solutions where we might see only established protocols. HFY provides stability, technological expertise, patience. You push forward, we maintain balance. So we need each other, Samantha said. Zara Vex tilted her head, her large eyes reflecting the room's light. Not need, perhaps choose each other as allies, each other as friends. She hesitated, then added, perhaps more in time. Before Samantha could respond, an alarm sounded. A HFY officer called out. Movement detected. The Drakari vessels are changing position. All eyes turned to the tactical display. The three ships previously hidden behind Earth's moon had broken formation. They were moving toward the planet in attack formation. They know we've detected them, Baker said. They're abandoning stealth for direct action. Zara Vex moved quickly to the command console. This is what we prepared for, she said. Her forearms moved in precise gestures, activating communication channels. The HFY fleet will intercept, but we need time to deploy the disruption technology. Samantha joined her at the console. Earth defense systems are coming online. She reported primitive compared to yours, but they might slow the Drakari advance. The princess nodded, her expression solemn. The first battle in a longer war has begun. Commander, she turned to address the command center. The Drakari believed they could divide us, turn us against each other. They believed we would follow predictable patterns, but today, we show them something. New two species united by choice, not by force. Standing together, not because we must, but because we choose to. The humans and Zithrai in the room straightened, responding to her words. The atmosphere shifted from tension to determination. As the tactical displays tracked the approaching enemy vessels, Samantha felt a strange calm. This was just the beginning. The Drakari had expected easy conquests of isolated worlds. Instead, they had created an alliance that might eventually push them back across. The star Zaravex turned to Samantha, her voice low enough that only she could hear. Whatever comes next, Commander Morgan. I am grateful our paths crossed even under such circumstances.